Hi, good morning. This is Rachel Perry, and I wanted to speak about the post that I put up today on the Dreamwork blog. I was talking about self-defense, and so I wanted to make a video also on the same topic, just to say more than what I can say in a blog. So I'm just going to set the timer here, 5 minutes. Okay, good. So I just want to summarize what I spoke about here. The headline or the title was about surviving torture, or like how to deal with torturous situations. And there is this concept within Dreamwork of flipping a negative situation into a positive. So I still always go back to that fundamentally, that if a negative shows up in a dream or if a negative shows up in real life, the first principle of change or the first principle of transformation is about how to take that negative and flip it to the positive. So that's why one of the strategies that I mentioned there is about seeing the end in the beginning. It means that as soon as you see a negative, if you have this idea of, oh, this can turn into something extremely positive, then the mind can start to consider what positives can come out of this. And it's infinite. There are infinite potentials for positive things to come out of negative situations. So what that means is that any negative situation has the seed for something positive to come out of. And the metaphor that I just really, really love that works well with this is the metaphor of gardening, because especially natural holistic gardening, because we have this idea of composting, right? So the food that you've eaten has now disintegrated and decomposed and created this compost. And when you put that compost onto a garden, the seeds that come up from that have more nourishment and more vitamins and more nutrients than a garden that wouldn't have that. So you can think of life in the same way. When you have this compost, which you might look at as, say, it's negative and it's stinky and it's full of bugs and decay. It could be called decay even. From that, the most positive things can grow. And that's kind of the idea of what I was saying here in my post. But I want to be really real and say, sometimes there's a person. That could be a family member, or that could be a neighbor, that could be a boss, that could be a coworker, that could be someone, a government official, or someone in a position of power who truly is so much detached from their own heart and their own emotions and their own sense of compassion for humanity, that they're no longer thinking from a place of respect and honesty and equality. They're thinking from a place of power. And their only desire is to hurt others so that they can clear the way to the vision of power that they see for themselves, the negative vision of power. So I wanted to acknowledge that these people can truly, truly deeply hurt others. And it's their intention to do so. And when they see others hurt, it actually gives them a sense of pleasure. As sick as that sounds, as disturbing as that seems, it's important to talk about it because we see this. We see this in families, or we see this in workplaces, in communities I just mentioned. So it's good to have a strategy to deal with people like this when they show up in your life. And that's where really you can think of this idea of self-defense. That's where self-defense comes in, because you're wanting to create strategies in your own self and in your own home, externally, in your own community, in your own life experience, where you feel that you can defend yourself or protect yourself against the threats from other people who are just out to hurt you. And the key is not to be vicious about it and not to come from a place of anger or fear or shame, not to come from a negative place, so that the actions that you take can be altruistic and loving in nature, and actually with respect to them as a human individual who ended up this way because of trauma in their life. And that becomes another story in itself. But I wanted to just quickly summarize this concept of what's there in my post today is actually what we're talking about is positive self-defense. And that would be a way to describe having strength of mind, having strength of spirit, and have, when you combine those things, you know, no matter what happens, no matter who comes into your life that is trying to create a mess and trying to hurt you or people you care about, you can still move forward towards a very positive outcome when you do those 5 things and keep those 5 things that I mentioned in the blog. Keep your mind set on the positive vision, and you can enjoy your life. You can be happy and healthy, and those that you love can also be happy, healthy, and safe. So I wanted to just summarize this. There's so much more to the topic, but that's what I can say in 5 minutes. So hope you enjoy. Thank you.